Hey guys, welcome back to Telltale. I'm Emily,
I'm Greg.
and today we are going to be discussing, or rather, I will be discussing at Greg, House of Purple Cedar by Tim Tingle.
We are Telltale Books, bringing you the best in literature, literary topics, and graphic design and bookmaking.
If you want to support us, you can find us on Etsy and Pango, where you can find gently used, rare, and even top quality used books.
And if you like this video, be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and maybe even that bell to be notified when new videos go live.
Thanks for joining us. So, Tim Tingle is a Oklahoma Choctaw Native American, and he has focused a lot of his literature that he's written, both fiction and nonfiction, as well as his studies, on regaining a lot of the personal narratives and history of the Choctaw Nation. His grandfather was one of the Native Americans displaced by the Trail of Tears. So his grandfather walked the Trail of Tears and ended up surviving. Okay. But a lot of stories from that, and so he kind of started a personal pursuit of finding personal narratives of First Nation peoples in the 1990s. Mm-hmm. He graduated from the Oklahoma State University with a Native American studies and has really dedicated a lot of his work specifically to Native American studies, storytelling, preservation of Native American culture and life, and just kind of regaining a lot of what had been lost because of colonization and a lot of the, essentially, for lack of better words, brainwashing and integration of Native Americans into white culture. Mm-hmm. So yeah, he's a really interesting person, and I really love his writing style. It's fantastic. The greatest enemy of this Choctaw Nation, mentioned in this book, is the Marshal.
Okay.
And that is the synopsis.
Okay.
It is their greatest enemy. So yeah. Summary. Basically, this is a kind of memoir-style novel written about a woman who is at the end of her life and remembering her childhood. And how, there's a beautiful, array of people introduced in this story, but mostly she just talks about her friends, her close family, people of note in their community, and of course their greatest aggressor, who ends up being the Marshal, who is basically in charge of all the law in it everywhere. So it's a lot of struggle because the law has never been on their side.
Okay.
And so
this is historical fiction?
It is a historical fiction. It's also technically a paranormal fiction.
Oh.
Yeah. So
is it based on any kind of true story or?
Bits and pieces of it.
Okay.
So it's kind of a conglomerate. Nobody mentioned in it is actually a real person. The events have been changed, but they are similar to events that have actually happened. So it's kind of like a conglomerate of information. Mm-hmm. But all the names and places and everything has changed. Okay. But they are based on actual experiences from various people in the Choctaw Nations.
And it's more literary fiction than Western?
Yeah, it's much more literary fiction. It kind of has a Little House on the Prairie vibe, but from the perspective of a Native American. Right. Which I appreciate. I appreciated the Little House on the Prairie books as a kid. So anybody who likes Little House on the Prairie is probably going to enjoy this style of book.
Okay.
So that's the shorter
the
shorter overview. So getting into the longer overview, the book actually starts off with the greatest tragedy that's happened to this Choctaw Nation that lives in this particular area. I want to say they're in Oklahoma.
Okay. And
they live in a small town. A lot of the Choctaw Nation people all kind of go to a Christian church. They've all been colonized, so they've all converted to Christianity by this point, and probably have been for several generations by this point. It's taking place in about late 1800s, early 1900s.
Okay.
So a lot has happened to their culture already. Mm-hmm. But it starts off with the greatest tragedy that they experience, which is they had a girls' school that was all Choctaw girls, and somebody came in the middle of the night, boarded up all the doors, and burned the place down and killed all the girls inside.
Oh, wow.
Everyone knows it's the Marshal and his buddies got drunk and did it. Everyone knows, but no one can do anything about it. So this guy's just an awful piece of shit. The whole county hates him, including the white people. Because they all know he's a drunk. They all know he beats his wife. They all know that he's an awful person. But he's untouchable because he is the law, and he's really good at putting on a facade when his superiors come.
Yeah.
But he is a severe alcoholic, he's an angry drunk, and he's just a cruel man.
Yeah.
And so it kind of starts off with you going through the process of them experiencing this and then having their public grieving ritual. Not just a church service, but like they all as a community, because everybody basically had a daughter who died there, or a child who died there. Everybody basically gets together, buries the dead, and they all weep openly and like just for the day. They all just have a picnic and cry together, which I thought was really a beautiful thing. So you get that these really cool pieces of actual rituals from the Choctaw Nation, but you're getting also how they've compromised Christianity and their beliefs into this really beautiful, like, chimera religion, essentially. It's still Christianity, but they keep a lot of their folklore, they keep a lot of their, wisdom and values, they keep a lot of their superstitions. And so the way that they just integrate it into their Christianity is really, really beautiful and interesting, so that they don't lose everything. But yeah, it's just about this little girl and the friends she's lost and the friends she still has. And the process of just viewing life from her perspective and understanding these characters. Now, it does switch up POVs a lot. And this book has everything. It has intrigue, there's some action, there's a little romance in there that's also a comedy. Like, it's a comedic romance, so it's hilarious. All these characters are really memorable and really interesting people. And you just have this Marshall who you love to hate. Yeah. He's like the best villain because he's so awful. Everything that happens to him. And it's a good for her kind of story, too. Where, in the end, he gets everything he deserves. And it's so good. But, yeah, so it's them starting off with them grieving and then kind of going into the difficulties everybody in the community has with this Marshall, essentially. Or ways that he's harming or touching other people's lives in negative ways. And how people either try to combat it or how they all try to, like, weasel their way around him all the time, just trying to save each other and save themselves from him. But the focus of his hatred is basically the Native Americans that live around there.
Yeah.
And women. He hates the brown people and he hates the women a lot. So it's just this really interesting story of how everybody deals with their day-to-day lives and then has it disrupted by his bullshit. In very, very negative ways. Like, at one point she recalls the time her grandfather gets beaten really, really badly on the at the train station because the marshal happens to walk by and happens to be drunk and in a mood and just wants to beat somebody. And so, but nobody can do anything because he is the law. So nobody does anything, nobody reports him. Everybody just is living in fear of this man. Yeah. There's a really lovely love story between the shopkeeper's girl and this guy who's the worst criminal ever. And that's that romance where it's just this larger-than-life, absolutely hilarious, totally comedic love story. And it's not highly focused on, maybe for a few chapters, but it's just enough to get a glimpse of their lives before basically he's such a bad guy but she falls in love with him anyway and then goes and sweeps him away somewhere else so he can't get arrested. And basically changes him while they're away.
So is this appropriate for, like, under 18?
Yeah, young adults would really enjoy this book. So I would say under 18 this would be fine. Doesn't get into
graphic such.
No, it's all very wholesome, very sweet.
Detail murders.
There is a pretty gross murder at one point but it's no worse than any of the young adult stuff I read growing up. So I don't feel like anybody's really going to be super thrown by that. I wouldn't give this to a 10-year-old, but 13 and older, like young adults, I think that it would be totally fine for.
Okay.
But yeah, so it just kind of goes through all this, them trying to live their lives and then having these negative interactions with the marshal, and then at one point the marshal really fucks up. And he, in a drunken rage, he almost kills the chaplain's daughter. which is a big no-no. Even though the chaplain is a Choctaw Indian or Native American, like, killing the chaplain's daughter is a big no-no. If the pastor's daughter dies, he knows he's in big shit. So in his drunken rage, he's like, she's seen what I've tried to do to harm other people, because he was, like, trying to go and sneak over and basically kill the grandfather that he beat before. Because he felt like it. There's really no other reason than he hates these people. And so he really messes up. She ends up seeing him sneaking around. He ends up hitting her and being like, oh crap. Well, now I have to kill you and hide your body. Like, there's no other way out of this. I nearly killed you and now you have to die, basically, is his drunken logic. He's like, and you have to go missing. And then he basically just, like, tries to kill this girl. She ends up escaping. Like, other people find her because they hear a wildcat in the woods, so they're trying to hunt this wildcat too. And so they go and they find her, and they're like, oh crap. So they try and get her away and get her to safety. And the marshal ends up faking his own death and going away for a while. So everybody believes this guy is gone. But in the process of him being away, a lot happens. Like, the girl's grandmother passes away, and that's really hard on her, but there's, like, she can see spirits sometimes of other beings and other kids and, like, people who have passed away. She's had these weird paranormal experiences as a child. So at one point, like, she keeps getting these inklings from her grandmother throughout that things are going to happen, or she has to make a move or do something. So it's kind of interesting that way, because she's got the spirit of an ancestor that's kind of working with her. On and off. And she doesn't have, like, a very full awareness of this because she's a kid. It's only now that as she's recounting it, as she's basically on her deathbed as an older person writing this, that you start seeing, she's like, that was paranormal. Like, that wasn't just me being a kid having imaginings kind of stuff. Like, there's no way I would have known that or had been able, as that age and that naive, being able to have the intuition to do those things. So it's just a really incredible story. He comes back, tries to kill his wife and all these other people that he feels have wronged him and chased him away, so to speak. Well, people don't know that he's still alive. And, you know, it becomes this whole big fiasco about halfway through the book of trying to track him down and all this other stuff. Very dramatic. So this book has a lot of really good stuff, but mostly it is so poetically written. It's really enjoyable, especially if you're a lover of poetry, and I always have loved historical fiction. So, like, going into this was the best of both worlds for me. And of course there's always that beautiful integration and romanticism of, like, nature as just as much a sentient and living being as yourself. So there's a lot of cool ways that they play into that with Native American wisdom. There's a lot of just really wonderful, charismatic, sweet, beautiful characters written into this. They all matter. There is nobody who's mentioned who doesn't play a big role in something in the story. Even if it's just towards the end, they become a pivotal person. So there's a lot of little fun twists that way. But overall, it's just a really beautiful story about how a community comes together to try to survive, but also try to forgive after everything is gone. And how do you move on from all this trauma as an entire culture of people? And not just, like, the culture of Choctaw, but this culture of this community that is affected by all this trauma from one man. So there's just a lot of really, like, beautiful, beautiful storytelling throughout this whole thing. And always that supernatural and a little bit religious, but it's kind of, again, a really cool, interesting mix of things. So if you're really into historical fiction, really love that Little House on the Prairie style kind of storytelling, this is a fantastic book for you. It's great. For me, it's a top's tail. I really love it. I think it's phenomenally written. It is a fantastic story. It just grips you through the whole thing. And I can't believe it's taken me over a year to finally get through it. I had started as kind of like a pleasure read. I get like 80% through it and then get distracted by all the books we're reading for Telltale and just never picked it up again, even though I was so close to the end. And then I popped it on a shelf just to kind of like have it there, but you know, it becomes static when it kind of sits in a place for a while. So then I finally decided, I'm like, this is a great fall read as well, because a lot of what happens in the fall time. So it's very atmospheric. There's just a lot of natural beauty to it. And people need to read it, because I can't do it justice. This is just a phenomenal book. And I actually picked it up. Funny story. I'm a letterpress printer, so I picked it up because it has letterpress sorts as a book title, and then I'm like, ooh, big cats. I like cats. How does that come to play? And it does come into play in the story in a few places. So
you bought it because of the cover?
Yes, you can judge books by covers. I had actually thought originally that maybe it had some story about like a small town newspaper or something, or like when I read about the author a little bit before I picked it up, I wondered, oh, maybe this is about like a Choctaw periodical, because a lot of cultures didn't have, like, they'd have to have their own newspapers because a lot of the stuff that's important to them wasn't being reported, or like when things were happening. But I was not correct. I was still not disappointed by this book. This was fantastic.
Very good.
So if you really enjoy historical fiction, this is a really good one. And it just honors a lot of the culture, which I think is important and wonderful. And also just being very realistic about how they had to integrate what they didn't want to lose from their culture into their lives now. I thought that was really, really well done. So, go find it. Go read it. Have you read it? Let us know. Yeah.
Put your thoughts about it in the comments if you have.
Yeah.
If you know anything about that or Tim Tingle.
Yeah, so it's one of my oddball picks that I found at a thrift store, and I am not disappointed. I do tend to actually really luck out at thrift stores when I find books that sound interesting, so I definitely can highly recommend this. And he's won a few awards for some of his books, too. Yeah. From what I've seen. He's an award-winning author, so. Okay. He's worth your time.
Very good.
One of the lesser knowns, but yeah, totally a top tale for me. So yeah. That's all I have to say about it. Okay. Without just repeating myself like a broken record on how great it is.
Sounds like a good book.
It is. It is. And it was a fast read. Like, the chapters are not long. Okay. So it doesn't take much time. It's broken up really nicely. You can take it in little bites, or you can go real fast through it. So, well paced. Yeah. Yeah.
So, kind of a book for everyone.
Yeah. It has a little bit of everything for everyone in it.
Okay, so, like I say, leave your comments if you know anything about this book or have thoughts on it. Otherwise, come on back. We're doing reviews and topics and all different kinds of videos here on Telltale Books. A lot more to come, and we've got a lot that we've already done. And you can support us by going to our Etsy store and our Pango Book store and buying very nice used books. We try to put either really great condition books, or if they're not in the best condition, they're unusual for some reason. They're
unusual or highly collectible, even in their condition. So, and a lot of them come from our private collections that we have taken care of and either have replaced over time, or we just aren't getting to them anymore and want others to enjoy them. So please adopt our books. Yeah. So they have nice homes.
And we've had a lot more we can put in.
Yeah.
Once we get a little room to put them in.
Yeah. So have fun with that.
So yeah, come on back, watch more, buy more, and otherwise go read.
Thanks for joining us, guys. We'll see you next time.